Yeah, this is the question that many people have grapple with. Is everything that Allah, so this whole conversation, this whole event, in fact, Adam alayhi salam, the stories of previous prophets, a lot of these realities, metaphysical realities that Allah talks about, are these to be taken literally, or are they metaphors? Are they analogies? Are they parables that Allah is deriving this and He's using to drive home His message? I think this is an idea that there are. You see, the Quran is not free from metaphor. The Quran is very heavy on metaphor. But here's one thing we need to understand about the Quran, which I feel this. I'm sharing with you my personal research. Many scholars, particularly those who believe in high irfanology, would disagree vehemently with what I'm saying. But ultimately, we take the Quran at its word, and we judge the Quran, we read the Quran, and derive our principles for approaching the Quran from the Quran itself, as well as the guidance of the Ahlul Bayt. The first thing that the Quran tells us about itself is that it is, as Allah says, Qur'anan Arabiyyan ghayra dhi iwajin. It is an Arabic Quran which does not have any iwaj. It does not have any crookedness in it. Okay? So this whole idea that the Quran is these really high-level codes and parables and metaphors and this and that, and basically these are not real events, they're parables for something else. This goes against what the Quran tells us about itself. As Allah projects the Quran repeatedly, He says, وَلَقَدْ أَنزَلْنَا إِلَيْكَ آيَاتٍ بَيِّنَاتٍ. These are very clear ayat. These are very clear messages. Quran Arabian ghayra dhi iwaj. It is an Arabic Quran which has no crookedness in it. It is straightforward. It is plain and simple. What you see is what you get. So, and the other thing that the Quran really emphasizes a lot is that it is bilisanin Arabiyin mubin. It is in the clear, manifest, plain language of the Arabs. So when we approach this Quran, we have to keep the language of the Arabs in our mind, the Arabs of the time to whom the Quran was revealed, not the Arabs of today. Modern standard Arabic is not the most reliable guide to understanding the Quran. Rather, classical pre-Islamic Arabic, as we call it, is what is the most reliable guide to understanding the Quran. So the words of the Quran, the sentences of the Quran, their true meaning, according to the Quran itself, as well as the Imams of Ahlul Bayt, we can share narrations from them about this as well. The true meanings of the Quran can only be accessed and understood in light of the linguistic conventions of the people to whom it was addressed. So that's why the study of Arabic is absolutely essential. Arabic is very rich on metaphor. So my approach, and this approach is not something that I've derived from my pocket, from the Quran and from the teachings of the Ahlul Bayt, is that for every verse of the Quran, for every metaphor of the Quran, before you can even accept that it is a metaphor or a parable or an analogy, you have to go to the language of the Arabs and see that in the time the Quran was being revealed, were these words being used metaphorically? Did this, in other words, is this a genuine metaphor or is this not? Because if you do not follow this approach, it leads to semantic and exegetical chaos. So for example, the Sufis will come and tell us that when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Al-Baqarah tells us, وَإِذْ قَالَ مُوسَى لِقَوْمِهِ يَا قَوْمِ إِنَّ اللَّهَ يَأْمُرُكُمْ أَن تَذْبَحُوا بَقَرَةً. That remember when Moses told his people that I want you to slaughter, Allah has commanded you to slaughter a cow. They said this is not the cow. The baqarah that you people know of, the cow, the animal? No, it's not that cow. It's not the nombe, as they say in Kiswahili. Rather, the baqarah here is representative of the nafs, okay? So Allah essentially is teaching us here that we should slaughter the evil desires of our nafs. This is the kind of high phonological explanation that the Sufis will try to give you and sell you when you read their commentaries about this verse of the Quran. So they are saying don't go by the literal. The literal is slaughter the animal. They say this is not a big deal. Rather, reinterpret this statement to mean something higher. So they say slaughtering the nafs, your evil nafs, that is the better thing to do. The approach we follow when we critique these kinds of tafsir is we say, okay, hang on a second, you're making a claim that this is what the Quran is trying to say, but the Quran is saying bilisanin Arabiyyin mubin. It has been revealed in plain, not in convoluted, confusing, super, dodgy Arabic. It is been revealed in unequivocal, plain, unambiguous Arabic. So we go to the Arabs and their Arabic, and we ask them, in your language, when the word baqarah is used, and tadbahu baqarah, for example, of fighting against your nafs and slaughtering it and any of that, the classical lexicographers of Arabic who have recorded all of that information for us, the metaphorical patterns, the speech patterns, the linguistic patterns, they will tell you, Baba, in our language, the language of the Arabs, the baqarah has nothing to do with the nafs. Baqarah is an animal, and there is no such metaphor that you can derive from these words. The moment they give us this testimony, we say, thank you very much. This interpretation is dismissed because it does not agree with the Arabic of the Quran. See, if we kill the Arabic of the Quran, if we kill the conventions of the Arabs, then I can prove anything from the Quran. I can say, Izbahu Baqarah actually means that we should actually go out and have a picnic. What is to stop me from making this claim? If I'm just gonna, bring out interpretations from my pocket, which have no connection with the words Allah is using, I can create chaos. So that's why Imam Sadiq alayhi salam has this beautiful hadith. He says, Kalla ma kana Allahu liyukhatiba khalqahu bima la ya'lamun. This is something that we will address more because the ulat, they invented many of these kinds of high irfanological interpretations of the Quran. That is a separate lecture, inshallah. We will go into it deeper and you will see how they twisted the Quran, how they manipulated the Quran to prove their points by detaching the verses of the Quran from their intended literal original meanings and associating them with really high-level irfanological concepts that have no relationship whatsoever with the language that the Quran is using.